The sun blazed down on Legiraa, Italy, a merciless furnace daring us to brave the untamed wilds. The wild boars here weren't just hogs. They were titans, ferocious beasts with eyes like glowing coals and cunning that made them seem like specters stalking the forest's edge. To the farmers of this rugged land, they were a curse, a relentless plague that tore through fields, shredded pastures, and crushed crops under their iron hooves. Each dawn revealed fresh scars on the earth. Each night brought sleepless dread as families watched their dreams, sown with sweat and hope, reduced to ruin. Children went hungry, and elders whispered of a time when the land was theirs. But today, a band of fearless hunters, led by a farmer whose heart burned with defiance, roared, "No more!" Rifles gleaming, ammo heavy in their packs, and resolve forged like steel. They marched into the jaws of danger to slay the beasts that haunted these woods. We split into tight-knit teams, slipping silently into the boar's domain, where every shadow pulsed with menace. The air was thick with the musky scent of earth and pine, but a sharper edge, a primal whiff of peril, clung to our skin, setting our nerves alight. Our hunting dogs, their eyes flashing with untamed zeal and noses quivering, forged ahead through twisting trails. Each step thrummed like a heartbeat, each glance a silent vow to face whatever lurked beyond. These boars were no ordinary foes, clocking speeds near 30 miles an hour, with instincts honed sharper than a razor. They'd vanish at the faintest crack of a rifle, melting into the trees like phantoms born of the forest itself. Then, like a bolt from the heavens, the dog's barks shattered the silence. A deafening war cry, a wild boar erupted from the brush, a juggernaut of raw power, its tusks gleaming like daggers under the sun. The leader, his nerves forged in fire, snapped his rifle up, tracking the beast's frenzied charge. Bam! The first shot tore through the air, grazing the hog's flank, sending it stumbling. Bam! The second struck, and it bellowed, a guttural roar of pain and fury. One final shot, and the bullet found its mark, felling the monster in a heap of dust and rage. The team exploded, shouts ringing through the canopy, hearts pounding with a primal rush. We claimed our first victory, a blood-pumping triumph, but a quiet voice in our souls whispered, this was only the beginning of a war against the wild. The forest we'd started in was too cramped, its shadows too shallow to hide more boars. Undaunted, we pressed on to a new battleground, a scarred stretch of land where these hogs reigned like tyrants, their hoofprints a map of devastation. The air stank of boar filth, a sour tang that twisted our stomachs, but our eyes burned with focus, scanning for the slightest hint of movement. Andrew, the leader's lifelong friend, his voice taut with unease, hissed, "Something's out there." And then, like a thunderclap, a colossal boar burst from the tall grass, its red eyes blazing with a hunger to destroy. Our hearts slammed against our ribs, but the leader stood firm, unshaken. He fired, the shot splitting the air, but the hog was a blur, dodging the bullet with unnatural speed. The miss was a bitter sting, a wound to his pride. "Never again," he growled, his vow a sacred oath. Moments later, redemption loomed. Another giant boar emerged, its bulk a challenge to our courage. With the focus of a hawk, he fired. Bam! One flawless shot, and the beast crumpled. Its reign ended. The team roared, a wildfire of pride blazing in our veins, our spirits soaring like eagles. As the sun sank, casting long shadows across the land, we shifted to an ambush, our hearts still racing from the day's battles. Perched on high platforms, we clutched our rifles, ears straining for the faintest sound. The air hummed with life, as if the forest itself held its breath, waiting for the storm to break. Only the whisper of leaves and the thud of our pulses pierced the stillness. Then, a crack of twigs and the guttural snorts of boars ripped through the calm, a harbinger of chaos. Bam! Bam! Shots blazed, and the woods ignited in pandemonium. The herd scattered, their squeals a desperate chorus of fear. And then, a behemoth of a boar fell under our barrage. Andrew's voice cracked with awe. "Holy crap! We nailed it!" We stood rooted, hearts pounding, stunned by the speed of our triumph. The leader flashed a grin, his voice low. Skill gets you far, but a sprinkle of luck seals the deal. Dropping a boar with one shot is a marksman's dream, a pinpoint strike to the head or neck. But even the grizzled veterans among us know, it's like hitting a bullseye in a hurricane. Wild boars aren't just beasts. They're a scourge, a relentless force that devastates farmers' lives. They churn the soil to chaos, obliterate grazing lands, and leave harvests in tatters. Worse, they breed like an unstoppable plague, each sow spitting out up to 12 piglets twice a year, their numbers swelling like a tidal wave. Local officials have thrown everything at them. Traps, sturdy fences, toxic chemicals, but the boars just sneer, their population surging as if to taunt humanity's efforts. We're out here not just for the thrill, but for a cause that cuts deeper, to shield the fields, to preserve the dreams of farmers whose desperate pleas echo through these hills, their voices heavy with the weight of loss. At dawn's first light, the sun spilled golden rays through the trees, bathing a small forest in a glow that felt almost sacred. But the tension was a living thing, coiling tight like a spring ready to snap. We moved fast, rifles primed, eyes glued to the dogs sniffing the earth with relentless focus. Every second of waiting was torture, our hearts hammering like war drums. Then the dog's barks split the sky. A boar charged, a freight train of wrath and muscle. The leader tracked its path, his aim steady as stone. 2 shots slammed into its hide, making it lurch with a bone-chilling roar. The 3rd shot was a thunderbolt, dropping the beast in a cloud of dust. We shouted, joy bursting like a river through a broken dam, our spirits lifted by the rush of conquest. This forest proved too small for more boars, its quiet deceptive. We moved to a new stretch, where their tracks gouged the earth like battle scars. As we stepped from the woods, another boar appeared by a babbling creek, clawing for freedom. The leader drew a deep breath, his hands steady as granite, and fired. One clean shot and it collapsed lifeless. Across the creek, a gentle hill loomed, cloaked in dense, head-high brush, a boar's paradise. His hawk-like eyes caught every flicker of a leaf, and soon, a dark shape slithered through the undergrowth, a predator in its own right. Shots cracked like lightning, one grazing the hog. It spun, wild with panic, and bolted a few yards before crashing down, rolling through the brush in a symphony of snapping twigs. We forged on to another forest, a notorious haunt where boar herds roamed like marauders. The instant we arrived, the dogs caught a scent, their barks slicing through the stillness like a blade. A pack of hogs lurked in thick brush, and the tension was a physical weight, pressing down as if the forest itself was watching. The leader fired a burst to flush them out. The herd erupted, grunting and squealing, a tidal wave of chaos. In the madness, he spotted one hog cowering beneath the trees, thinking it could outsmart us. No chance. He aimed low, fired, and sent it sprawling with a single deadly shot. Pride roared through us like a wildfire. Our bond as hunters forged anew in the heat of battle. We plunged deeper into the forest, where sunlight fought to pierce the tangled canopy, casting eerie patches of light and shadow. Less than half an hour later, a monstrous boar emerged, its bulk a living nightmare, as if the forest had birthed a demon. We hunted into the late afternoon, the sunset's golden fire painting the woods in hues of glory. On a trail winding out, we braced for one final stand. Suddenly, a boar tore across the path, a dust storm in its wake. The leader swung his rifle and fired. It dropped like a stone. Before we could catch our breath, another charged. One more shot, and it hit the dirt. The silence afterward broken only by our laughter, raw and triumphant. The battle shifted to a snow-swept wilderness, where hunting boars became a crucible of courage. Deep hoofprints in the frozen earth screamed of danger, each one a challenge etched in ice. Every shot was a heartbeat, felling hogs in a deadly ballet that tested our souls. Our sharpshooting and unbreakable spirit turned this journey into a saga for the ages. The first snow had buried the land, transforming it into a desolate, icy void. But the cold was no match for the boar's defiance. A shot split the air, and a hulking shadow fell, tumbling down a slope, slamming into pines, unleashing a cascade of snow like a white avalanche. Far off, our dogs surged forward, a fearless arrow chasing a giant boar into an open field. This was our moment. A rapid volley roared, and one by one, the fierce hogs dropped, their bodies steaming in the frigid snow. This hunt was a hymn to bravery, each note struck with precision and heart. The herd was charging toward a dense forest. We devised a plan, sealing every escape route with the precision of wolves. Our breath froze into clouds in the biting air. Firing too soon could lose us the prize, so the leader waited, still as a statue, his eyes burning with purpose. The boars closed in. One perfect shot thundered, and a colossal hog collapsed. Its massive frame sprawled across the snow like a fallen titan. One after another, they fell, their reign ended. Despite the merciless winter, victory warmed us like a hearth's glow, a beacon in the endless white. After days of howling blizzards that locked us in place, the skies cleared, the sun's soft light a fleeting gift. The snow lay thick, a challenge to our resolve. After a grueling 20-minute trek, we spotted a herd slogging toward the mountaintop, their breath steaming in the chill. Among them, a dominant boar towered, a king of the wild, daring us to take it down. A single shot rang out, ending its rule. At the peak, another herd emerged, their tracks carving bold lines in the virgin snow, a call to battle we couldn't ignore. A 650-foot shot was a test of skill and nerve. The leader adjusted his scope, drew a steady breath, and tamed his racing heart. Through the lens, he locked onto a massive hog, its presence a challenge to his very soul. He and his teammate fired as one. The shots shattered the mountain's sacred silence. The boar lurched, then fell, a vanquished giant, while the rest of the herd fled in terror into the forest's depths. As we turned to leave, the dog's frantic barks erupted, a final rallying cry. We snapped into position, eyes cutting through the frost with deadly focus. A dark shape exploded from the brush, a last stand of wild fury. The leader pulled the trigger, and the boar's charge ended in a heartbeat. The hunt was done, the snow strewn with fallen foes. The bone-chilling cold couldn't touch us. Our hearts blazed with the fire of triumph. Every chase, every shot, was a chapter carved into the legend of this unforgiving wilderness. Yet beyond the horizon, new battles loomed, and we stood ready, our spirits unyielding, to meet them head-on.